Hello, everybody. I'm Madame Sensei. I teach Spanish, French, Japanese, and now English language arts. And I realized I was neglecting English language arts on my YouTube channel because I talk a lot about how I teach language and all that I've learned over the hundreds of years that I've been doing this. I'm very new to teaching English language arts, and there's a lot I need to think aloud to do. So come talk to me at any of these places and help me pound out some of these crazy ideas I have. So, I'm one of three junior English teachers in my school, and they already decided the curriculum before I was told I had to start teaching English. So, you know, uh, okay, you want to do the Crucible? Fine, we'll do the Crucible. Okay. So, what I'm going to talk about in this episode is I'm going to talk about how I'm trying to really engage my students in the Crucible with a mock trial. So again, I'm new to teaching English. I've taught all sorts of languages for many, many, many years. And English language arts, I feel like I'm not a first year teacher anymore. I'm a second year teacher now because I've done this for a year and a half now. But it's still, wow, what a learning curve. You know, all my huge bag of tricks that I have for teaching language, it's just not working on the English students, even though I have some of the students in both classes. I've got, students in Spanish and they're in my English class, and I've got students in French and they're in my English class, and I've got students in Japanese and they're in my English class. And it's just such a different skill that all the silly things I do in language class, certainly all the rapid fire stuff doesn't work because we've got to concentrate on a book for a long time. And all the things I focus on in a language class are totally different than in an English language arts class. The next problem I have is I do take a lot of time in my language classes training the students. Look, you want to learn fast? You got to look at the language 5 minutes a day outside of school. 5 times a day. 5 minutes a day outside of school. That's what I'm asking for. So I train them to get them to do a teeny bit of homework every single day because I talk a lot about metacognition and building up their long-term memory. In my English language arts class, I don't know how to get the students to turn things in. This is our most recent essay, which was due 22 days ago. And I still have, well, this isn't even a total screenshot of the whole class. I still have 50% of the class. I'm not kidding you. 50% of 32 students have not turned in their essay from 22 days ago. And, I went to my colleagues and I said, what am I doing wrong? Because I was in a panic last year when so many students weren't turning in. And they were like, it's not you. It's all the students. And, a good many of them will turn it in the day before grades are due. And I have it in my syllabus. I won't accept anything the day before grades are due, but they will do that. And of course, I'm a pushover and I will take it. But at any rate, yeah, just getting them to see the relevance in it has been really difficult, especially in the age of ChatGPT taking all their critical thinking away from them. I have a colleague who does a lot of Socratic seminars, and he's really, really good at it. I'm not good at it yet. I just can't keep the students from talking about what they bought at Target yesterday, or what they're watching on TV, or the latest meme, or yeah, I can't get them there. They'll talk to each other. Their conversational skills are great, but they won't talk about the subject at hand. And in a language class, I've got so many tips and techniques, and the English class, I brought out the Kagan talking chips, and the Kagan talking chips all wound up on the floor. And people were cheating and pretending to talk when they weren't talking, or they're putting in 5 at once, and so all my secret stuff, it's just not working in this class. So we're doing the Crucible, and the Crucible's a play, so I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to teach you guys how to do readers' theater, and it's going to be so much fun. And it was for the first 4 days, and then it became pulling teeth. And silly me, I'm thinking, it's a 4-act play? That should take 4 days. Oh my god, it took 2.5 weeks. Okay, so the readers' theater always starts out great but then Peters, both years. This is my second year doing this, so. Um, the other thing that was really rankling me is, I do write quite a lot, and I do read quite a lot. That's why I'm fluent in so many languages. And I have a master's degree in literature and other languages, but not in English. But yeah, I love to read. That's why I'm where I am right now, okay? And since I'm member number 3 of the team, I have to do what the other English teachers are doing. And they wanted the essay to be about conformity versus nonconformity. And it's like, yeah, okay, that's great. I can do that. But for me, reading The Crucible, that's not the main theme that I personally pick out of it, especially when there's so much going on in the world right now that I can reflect it to. The conformity versus nonconformity felt a little shoehorned in. But, I did it like a good little soldier last year. And I should also say that I also tell the kids, I'm never going to ask you to do something that I'm not willing to do myself. What do you want my essay to be about? And I will write my essay on the board in front of you while you work on your essay so that you can pick mine apart. And they did enjoy doing that, at least the first 2 essays, and then they just started ignoring me. But they do remember last year they asked me to write my essay on Esperanto. And I was like, that's perfect, because I could do conformity versus nonconformity about constructed languages and Esperanto trying to get a foothold in the world and all that. It was a good essay. I enjoyed doing it. The students enjoyed hearing my essay. I don't know that they have peer review was something I was really struggling with to get them to do, and I thought they could peer review me. It was hard. It was like pulling teeth. So anyway, things that I do leading up to the big essay, and in this case up to the mock trial, because this is the first year I did the mock trial. I do inductive learning, which I explained in the Gatsby Escape Room Part 2. If you're interested in that, I might make another video more in detail about that if anybody wants it. I do a Friday Poetry Slam. Video will be coming soon because this is something that I started in my language classes, and they love it so much that I decided in my summer health class, I was like, oh, music is so important to the kids. I'm going to do it for my summer health class too. They loved it so much, and when I started teaching English, I was like, that's something I got to put in there because at least the students will enjoy the music. And you know what? One of the things that really shocked me was, hi, Pamela, you're going to be teaching English language arts next year. Yay! What's the poetry unit look like? Oh, we don't have a poetry unit. I'm like, what the heck? We don't have a poetry unit? So I sneak it in with my Friday Poetry Slam, and I will talk about that in an upcoming video. Reader's Theater, I just explained. Reader's Theater is like, it starts out gangbusters, and then it just fizzles, no matter what. We do daily quick writes, of course, and the quick writes are just, here's your interactive notebook. Here's the theme of the day, and for Crucible, it was all conformity versus nonconformity. Define what does conformity mean for you. When did you ever find yourself conforming or not conforming? Those kinds of things. And then trying to work in a little bit of a writing skill in it too. Hey guys, remember we're working on our figurative language. Let's go back and look at that paragraph that you just wrote 10 minutes ago, and let's add some kind of figurative language to it. And then I make a lot of cardstock games, as I talk about in my channel about games in the classroom. And so the easiest one to do for English language arts is to go to SparkNotes and get all the quotes that they think are important and just copy paste them into a document that I then print on cardstock, slice it up, and say, okay guys, here are the main quotes from the story you just read. Put them in the order that they come in the story. And the students like that. That's pretty good because the students talk about, hey, wait, I think this came from Act 3. No, this couldn't have come from Act 3. It had to come from earlier, blah, blah, blah. So that's always really good. And it's an easy thing to do. Doesn't take a lot of prep time. So the mock trial. I've been wanting to do some kind of role play in my classes for a long time and just could never fit it in there. And I was like, I'm going to take the plunge. And we're going to do a mock trial because that seems like it'd be very fitting to get the students into the Crucible. And I know I'm just over 10 minutes. I'm going to split it in a second. My bar is very, very low for this. Very, very low. I just want the students to get engaged with the themes of the book, some of the main quotes of the book. I just want them to play with it, to touch it, to get engaged with it. That's all I care about. So I went to my colleagues before school started, like in August, and I said, hey, I'm thinking of having a mock trial. They said, that is such a great idea. And then I said, okay, who's done a mock trial before who can help me with this? And nobody in my whole school had ever done a mock trial. I went to the business law teacher. No, he's never done a mock trial. I went to all the history teachers. No, they've never done a mock trial. Nobody's ever done a mock trial. So I was kind of on my own. All right, I'm splitting it here, and then I will talk about the actual feet to the fire, what happened in the mock trial in the next video. Hope to see you there.